Legend is directed by Brian Hegleland and stars Tom Hardy, Emily Browning, Taron Egerton, Christopher Eccleston and a load of other British actors as well. The last decent Cray Twins film we had was in the 90s with the Kemp brothers. Yeah, you know, the ones from Spandau Ballet. Compared to the other Cray films, this one is probably the darkest and may as well be the best. The highlight of this film for sure is definitely the acting, and I'm not just talking about Tom Hardy. Everyone in this film is great. Emily Browning is miles better than she was in Sucker Punch. Christopher Eccleston and Tara Egerton are really good, even though they don't get that much screen time, which is really annoying because they just waste potential in this film. But they are still really good. But like I said, the highlight of this film is Tom Hardy's double-barrel performance as both Ronnie and Reggie Cray. Now, most people would think that for a person who's playing two of the same character, technically, he could just pull off with the same character. But no, he manages to give both characters unique personality traits and also manages to make them more complex than we've ever seen them. We see how Ronnie is a loose cannon who can just break and snap at any time and just like do anything, mostly in a bad way. And then we see how he does Reggie, where he's more methodical, more calculated, but still has his breaking points. I also love the way that even though they are gangsters and even though they come across all tough and manly, they still have a lot of heart about them, but in the end of the day they're still brothers and they still look out for each other, even though Reggie really wants to kill Ronnie by the end of the film. The direction by Brian Hegleland is also pretty well done. Now, most people know him for writing screenplays for films such as LA Confidential, and it is blatantly obvious in this film, because the way the film comes across, it's as if they're trying to portray that same slick American gangster film style and translate it over to a British audience and setting. And for the most part it does work, but there are a couple of times when it does look like they're trying to become the next Godfather or the next Goodfellas, and it doesn't quite work. Like, they're just trying to push it in your face, this whole American gangster feel. Like, there's even one bit where they do end up introducing American gangsters. There are also some genuinely funny moments in this film as well. For example, there's one scene which I won't spoil in a pub where just shit hits the fan. It's one of the funniest things I've seen all year from a non-comedy film. Now, even though this is a solid film, there are a couple of flaws with it. Even though it doesn't feel slow for the most part, there will be a couple of times where you will end up checking your watch, and that's not the best thing for a film like this. Whereas most 2-hour films just fly past, this one does unfortunately feel like 2 hours. Also, the score did feel a little out of place in my opinion. It would have worked better for a TV show that was trying to get the same vibe, the same setting, but it just felt really out of place, especially for a fairly big budget film like this. Even though this film isn't flawless, there is still a lot to like about it. From the great performances, especially by Tom Hardy's double-barrel performance, with a lot of enjoyable moments that will be memorable for quite a while. This is one of the best British films that I've seen of the year. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I highly recommend it if you love films about this, and if you loved the 90s Cray film, then you might even like this more. Now, before I end this video, there is one thing I do want to address which unfortunately did happen during the screening of Legend that I went to see. Now, when I go and see a film, I respect both the film and the audience members around me. I keep my mouth shut and watch the film. However, some people just never learn. During the screening of Legend that I went to, there were two men, I don't know if you can even call them that, who decided to talk at the top of their voice throughout the entire film, laugh at bits that weren't funny, their phone went off, and they decided to bring the entire of Tesco's with them in a little carrier bag. They were just popping cans of beer every 5 fucking minutes. It was ridiculous. I mean, right, if you ever come across people like that in a cinema, just do something about it. No one did anything about it because we just put up with it. But I feel that if that was to happen again, I would do something about it. Because they might just be watching it for the hell of it, which is all fair and good, because people go to the cinema for different things. But I go to the cinema, one, to enjoy it, and two, so I can review it. Now, if you're going to review a film, you need to actually focus on the film. But you can't if you've got two tosspots making a shit ton of noise. Anyway, rants aside, my next Star Wars review will be out very soon. I'm really looking forward to that. Apart from that, there's not much else to say. Yeah. But like I said, if you ever come across people like that in the cinema, please do something about it. Don't just let it be the little nuisance that it is. Or otherwise, it'll just keep happening. Please, just do something about it. Yeah. There's not much else I can say, guys.